Good afternoon. Home Park has always been a place where Argyle can rely on picking up points, but this season, however, that hasn't been the case, and with 5 games coming up here over the next 4 weeks, they will be hoping they can return to their formidable home. This lunchtime has ramifications at both ends of the Sky Bet League One table. If Argyle win, they'll be out of the bottom 4. But if Bradford go home with the points, they could be starting December as the league leaders. Lots at stake then for both sides, and all of the action coming your way on Argyle TV. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Matchday Live. I am Erin Black. The winter is always that stage of the year. It shapes the football season as we enter December. Argyle know now that they have to start doing something positively to stop this season becoming one of their worst in recent times. They do come into this lunchtime's fixture with 2 wins from the last 3 matches. Both of those have come away from home, and they haven't won a game in the league here since beating Stockport in early September. Bradford are their opponents today, looking to continue their fine start to life in League One. You can get your match passes, both audio and video streaming, over on our website. You want to head to pafc.co.uk for all of the details, because kickoff will be happening not very long now, 12:30 this afternoon. In the meantime, though, I'm pleased to say joining me in the Argyle TV studio is none other than former Argyle defender, Mark Edworthy. Although, I mean, at this point, we'd get you in the team.
Yeah, well, I'd love to be out there. As I said before, I've been in this position myself.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult time. The only thing is, festive period, lots of games in a short period of time. And hopefully, if you have a good December, that leads then into January, and then we can kickstart our season. We really can. But it's all about winning games now, Aaron, and certainly got to start by winning this afternoon against Bradford.
Yeah, it's been a real rough run recently. I know, we had the benefit of starting the season. We're going, okay, well, it's only just the start of the season, but we're kind of a third of the way through now, really, aren't we? And this is, I think, the time initially Tom cleverly said where the results will reflect where the team is at, and unfortunately they're not reflecting on quite the right side.
Not. It's been pretty brutal, and obviously we did the game, the Port Vale game, and fantastic away result, as you just said, 2 of the last 3, and they've come away from home. Where we talk about the away form, it was been really difficult, but beating Port Vale, I really thought that's the time to kickstart. It was a huge game. Both teams. A good friend of mine, Darren Moore, was obviously in trouble himself at Port Vale. Bottom against second from bottom, so it was a huge victory. And then coming back to Home Park, hopefully you can kick on. And then the Northampton score was a complete opposite. So yeah, difficult times, and but you've always got the opportunity to put it right.
Yeah, we've got fans as well relishing the opportunity to come and see Argyle play here at Home Park, because it's been a real spell of away games that we've had recently, which, while our away form has been better, it hasn't really been an ideal run up into this Christmas period, has it?
No, it certainly hasn't, and it has been difficult, especially with the fans as well. Geographically, we know how far it is, and travelling and the expense for them, and they always turn up, and it's fantastic for the football club to have such great support away from home. But you've got to back it up at home today, and we now got a number of games at home, and this is the time, like I say, games come thick and fast in this short period, and it hopefully will dictate your season. It's going to dictate, because if you're around the wrong end of the table at this time of the year, then it goes into January, and things can quickly change. So fingers crossed they can change in the right direction for us.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Argyle will be hoping to welcome back a couple of players from injury today, so there is some positivity there. Let's have a look at the squad that you've got for this afternoon then on the screen for you now. Connor Hazard, Julio Pleguezuelo, Jamie Patterson, Joe Edwards, Barley Mumba, Alex Mitchell, Owen Asani, Malachi Boateng, Matty Soranola, Joe Rawls and Owen Dale, and on the bench Ashby Hammond, Ross, Wiradu, Suge, Amici, McCabe and Galloway. We're looking at this, Mark. This is a bit more of a experienced team, I think, compared to what we've had recently.
It certainly is. Obviously, Peg coming back is massive as well. But yeah, experienced campaigners are there, like seasoned pros almost. Obviously, Joe Webb was back in the side, captain the side as well. And the fear is if you lose with that sort of team, so you've gone for the youth and you've gone for a mixed bag, and then you've gone for really experience. I think that's why he's gone with it today cleverly. He just needs to get a home win, get some confidence back in the team, and that is an experienced side against a good Bradford team. So it's going to be a great test for us this afternoon.
One name missing from there, which I think we're all aware of, Talai. He's starting the first of his 3-match suspension after that red card that we saw last week. I think he is going to be missed. He's really one of the only players who's actually been serving up the goals. But this is now an opportunity for the likes of Owen Asani to get involved and show what he's capable of. Got some floats of him there. What do you think of this situation?
Well, there's always opportunities, isn't there? And players want to take them. Obviously, quickly reflect on Sly. He's been outstanding this season, and really has. He's been the forefront of everything we do, scoring goals, great signing from Port Vale. I think he handled the situation going back to his old club last week brilliantly, because I think that must have been tough for him, the crowd giving him a lot of stick. And then to get sent off, disappointing for him personally and for the team, because it's a huge blow, and also he would have had the opportunity for his goal tally to increase. So as a striker, he would have gone in the dressing room. He knows he's let himself down, because playing in that position, you're going to get kicked, you're going to get pushed. And as I said, he handled it brilliantly at Port Vale. I thought that would have been a real test for him, and yet he gets sent off against Northampton. But opportunity, as we said, places up for grabs, and now it's a great opportunity to make a mark for himself.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some clips of Asani there, 2 goals in the league, and others as well, in various cup runs as well. We don't have Ibrahim, who's another goal scorer for Argyle. Really, this is an opportunity that he needs to try and capitalise on if he can.
Yes, and he has. Circumstance happened, done it. Unfortunately, the top striker and the one probably on the team sheet first every week is out for a few games now. So you've got the opportunity at home in front of your crowds to showcase yourself. Some great highlights there. We know what he's capable of doing, and there's like everything. I'll be brutal here. You've got to produce. That's what they get paid for. That's what they train for, and relish the opportunity. And top of that list is go out and enjoy yourself. Go out and enjoy yourself, and fundamentally everything follows that. So great opportunity for players coming in at this stage of the season and at this period where there's lots of games that's going to come up.
And quickly, before we move into Bradford, the return of Pleggy in the squad.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent before he got injured. Really established himself, a great defender, likes defending, and he was a huge loss for us. So with his experience back in there today, I know he's had a game midweek. Hopefully that's going to dust it away with some cobwebs, because you can train as much as you want. But coming back to the league campaign is great to see him back in the team.
Yes, a nice mix of names in the squad, but they do go up against Bradford, who are 3rd in the table. They are, however, also without their top scorer. So he's serving a 1-match suspension today. So this is the side they've gone with: Walker, Turay, Wright, Power, Neuville, Sarcevic, Humphreys, Baldwin, Wright, Kelly, Metcalf, and on the bench, Hilton, Halliday, McIntyre, Lee, Swan, Tilt, and Lapsley. We know this is going to be a bit of a tricky one, Mark. When we did the breakfast show earlier, Aaron spoke about, Bradford are going to want to be coming out and keeping Argyle quiet pretty much straight away, which is exactly what we can't afford to happen.
No, but they've stumbled a little bit recently. Obviously beating Exeter 1-0 in their recent results, but drawn a lot of games, but hard to beat. And I think the incentive for them today as well, if they win, they could potentially go top. Massive incentive for them to kickstart their sort of run again. I think they've got 7 out of 18 points, which for them, if they turn them draws into wins, they could be high up in the league and flying high. I know they're 3rd, but what I mean by they could be sitting top already.
Yeah.
So they'll want to come here and really frustrate Argyle. They know if they get here and really frustrate them, it's a difficult task for them, because they know that Argyle at home need to get results.
Tyreek Wright, of course, spent a year at Home Park, but Anthony Sarcevic played 132 times for Argyle, and he's really bedded in at Bradford. They're loving him there. He's, of course, very fond of Argyle, but I don't think that's going to stand in the way of him wanting to do similar to what we're seeing on screen right now here in Home Park in front of a Bradford crowd. Yeah,
of course. 2 decent players as well come back, and like everything, they want to come back to their old club where they spent some time here and do well. Any player does, and the crowd reaction will speak for itself. But 2 players that have got to be watched this afternoon. They're decent players. Like I say, the opportunity to take their team top of the table is a massive incentive. So it's going to be another tough game. Look, there's no easy game in League One, and you've got to earn the right to go out and win the game. And and earn the points. So it's going to be a really interesting game.
Yeah, he has 5 goals and 2 assists this season, but not scored in a month. Another player probably that you want to keep an eye out on. Will Swan, 6 goals, but he's on the bench. So
yeah, I thought he was going to start. I really did when I seen that. You know, his goal speaks for itself, especially. But you know, they've probably done the tactics. They looked at what Argyle can do at home park, and you know, he's a great asset to bring on as well, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. They're probably best described as a direct team, I think, Bradford, and they like a counter-attack. So, and that I think is areas where we've seen maybe Argyle are lacking on the break. So hopefully they've done their research to make sure we're not letting those silly mistakes slip in where other teams can capitalise on where Argyle are going wrong.
Yeah, I think with the selection today from Cleverly, you know, we've got an experience, haven't we? We really have. They are very direct, counter-attacking. Look, we've seen many games this season when in spells Argyle have been excellent, but it's that consistency. You know, we've scored and we think, I'll go on and improve on that, get the second or third go. But we seem to, for some reason, take that step back and invite the opposition to come onto us, and that's obviously led to some disappointing results here at home park. So hopefully today we've got to withstand that, you know, bombard of, you know, direct football, which we'll do. They will also like force you into submission, really.
Yeah.
But on the counter, so it's going to be a tough game this afternoon, really is. So let's go, you know, get up for it and get the points.
As long as it's tough in the right way, I don't think my heart can take another Northampton Town scenario. But for the second time in 2 home games, Argyle come into a game here at home park off the back of a 1-0 away win. So Tom Cleverly is hoping that this week they can take advantage of that confidence.
Yeah, for a second week in a row, that we come into a game off the back of a 1-0 away win, hoping to harness something. What's the trick of getting it right this time compared to last time?
Yeah, that's the key, you know, to back it up now. I thought we backed up our Port Vale performance with a great start to the game against Northampton. Now, if the first goal goes in, I think it's a different story, or if their centre-half gets sent off, it's a different story. I was really pleased with the first half. Now, what we've not managed to do is deal with a setback this season, because you take the last 5 games, I think there's been some very consistent periods of play, barring the second half at Huddersfield and the second half against Northampton, and they've been fairly damaging halves of football. But the consistent things with those 2 games they are the only periods of play we've had to be behind, and we've just not got over that mental hurdle. So we've helped the players with that. They've really rolled their sleeves up. The supporters will help us, and we must get better at that. But let's not beat around the bush. We are preparing the team to start fast and take the first goal on Saturday.
How important is it to get some sort of momentum at home? Because we just haven't had it this season, have we?
Yeah, and it's criminal really that we've not using this place to our advantage with the numbers that we've got, with the noise, the support. And obviously the logistic difficulties that away teams have to come down there. We're not making them pay, so yeah, it's conscious. We're conscious of that. We're doing things to try and improve that. And yeah, let's hope that this weekend is the one that really kicks off a run here at home park.
I think we would like this weekend to be
definitely
that one. Didn't play out last week. They couldn't back up the Port Vale win against Northampton Town. Tom Cleverly does always speak very openly about, you know, areas 4 of the 6 halves of football have been good, but that's not good enough. You know, when you look at it as a former player, where do you see the issues or the areas that really do need to be addressed?
Yeah, you can just tell, like, former player himself, he's frustrated. Periods I've seen this season, and obviously he sees it on a daily basis. They've been in games and really, really doing well, and it's like a number of errors and silly goals. And I think the frustrating thing goes back to the Exeter game, when, you know, it's a local derby, you want that fighting team spirit, and it wasn't there that night. And they've been really, really tough to back that up with some good performances. Yes, a great result against Leyton Orient in the week, and then beating Port Vale. And then you think he wants that consistency, okay, then go and beat Northampton at home, and then you can get that run going. And you know what, winning games is like Aaron and confidence. You know, that's great to have in your team. And it's been 2 stop-start this season. That's why we find ourselves in the position we're in, because we haven't been consistent enough. He's trying to be consistent. He's tried different players in different positions. He's gone really with that experience today, and hopefully that will just give us a real foundation. Okay, let's get a result. Let's get the most important game today is against Bradford. Forget what everybody else is doing. You can only take care of your own destiny.
Yep.
So let's beat Bradford today and then move on to the next one, because we know in the December period so many games are coming up, and all of a sudden the table could look a lot different as get to the end of December and approaching January, because you need to be in a good position going into the new year.
How do you get that complete performance put back together then? Is it a scenario of, I think we will have watched a number of games this season. You can identify players that have maybe switched off a little bit, and then that's where the mistakes have dripped in. Is it a case of every player has to concentrate on, right, if I can win my battle here in the pitch and if they can win theirs, and then it starts to piece together like that? Or does it need
100%.
to be...
You should be out there, shouldn't you?
God, that would be,
there she is.
that would be, even
no,
worse
I
than we are now.
Individually, you've got to take care of your own performance. Then obviously collectively with the team, when the team's playing, but it's confidence. Confidence is a huge thing. If you doubt yourself in your own position, or doubt what's happening on a Saturday, and that's what's been happening. And of course, results reflect on that. If you're losing games, you take the easy option sometimes.
Yeah.
You're not as positive as you were when you're really confident. And there's been a lot of mistakes as well, which has happened, and in which we've lost a lot of games because of individual mistakes. And that's something which the manager is really frustrated with, because that doesn't happen on the training ground. You don't prepare for people to make mistakes. It happens. You've got to deal with it. And I think it's happened too many times this season at really vital points of games where we've been in front, we look really good. All of a sudden, a goal goes in against us, and you can just see us almost like the confidence drain out of us. And that's something that obviously Tom wants to put right. He's a real confident guy. He's a young manager, really positive, and he does believe in his players, but they've also got to believe in themselves.
Yeah, so true. We know home park is a brilliant place to be, but of course, if you're on a bit of a losing streak, you don't want the disappointment of Argyle fans behind you. So hopefully that changes today. Bradford, of course, are our opposition. They do have a chance to go top with a win today, but they've only won one of their last 9 matches. So their boss, Graham Alexander, like Tom Cleverley, is looking for some results to be strung together.
Plymouth for you next. Long trip for you next as well, and a 12:30 kickoff to contest with, which is fantastic for the travelling fans. I'm sure that was welcome news for them when that came through. How does that deviate your week, if at all, given that you've had a midweek, an away game, and then a long trip coming up?
Yeah, no, it doesn't change any aspects of it, to be honest. No, we were travelling on Friday, as we would have been if it was a 3 o'clock kickoff or 5 o'clock, whatever it is. So nothing changes really. But look, if you've been in England for a number of seasons, you're used to long trips. It's one of the things I think the way clubs look after players now, and the levels of professionalism, I don't think it's a problem, to be honest. I think you can perform at the highest level with if you look after yourself continually and consistently. When there's 2 games in 3 days, when there's long journeys and that, I think your body's used to it, and as long as your mind is, that's the biggest thing. It's the mind. So they'll sleep well, nice hotel, nice bed, same prep, they'll be fine.
How wary do you need to be of an opposition like Plymouth? Obviously, it's been a difficult season for them so far, but as we've just been discussing with Anthony, I think this league, particularly this season, is just going to show how difficult it is and how level it is across the board. Yeah,
I think the table tells you that, with the actual amount of points between clubs, 10 places difference, and we've seen the challenge already this season. I think I said it last week, I'd be surprised if anyone's surprised by the competitive nature of whoever we play. I think what we saw last week at home against Exeter proves how competitive this level is. The Exeter, in the bottom half, but really good team, caused us lots of problems. We had to work exceptionally hard to win the game. So, I think we've got enough senior players and experienced players to understand that we have to maintain our performance against anybody. But I think we've shown that consistently in the league, that we can understand what the challenge is and raise our game to it. So I think the biggest thing, and I know I stress this a lot, but honestly, we have an idea of how our team plays, and we have to just commit to that as much as possible, because I think when we dip below that, I just think we're handing a little bit of strength to the opposition.
They've had a great season so far, but they have stuttered a little bit. They've got the joint most amount of draws in the league, 7.
Incredible. Yeah, Graham, he was a good player himself, and he just highlighting that, isn't he? You know, don't make any excuses to travelling, the bed. You know, we are pampered. We were when I was playing. It's true. We were pampered as players, and you got to go out and you know, win football games. That's what you paid for, and handle every situation or every circumstance that it gets. You know, that you got to face. Yeah, unbelievably the draws they've had. I mean, look, they're third in the table. So if they could turn them draws into wins, that's why I said they could have been, you know, flying high, which they are. But they could have been away with the league by sort of 9 or 10 points. They really are. They're very efficient. He want to change that. He just reflected on that, didn't he? So look, Exeter are a good side. We probably won't agree on that, but you know, they're wrong end of the table, but they give Bradford a real run for their money. So they'll know coming here to home park today against Plymouth, you know, don't underestimate Argyle, because you know, this could be the start when we kickstart our season. Yeah,
I mean, it's so obvious, but it's the testament of having a game and making sure you don't lose. The power of the points that they've accumulated through drawing and securing the draws have seen them, you know, third place. Yeah, they're hard to beat. They're well organised, and I didn't expect anything less from Grant Alexander's team. But yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game. I can't call it. I just think it's two teams at the moment. You know, you'd sit on the fence. You'd like to punt for a draw. You'd sit on the fence and draw, but that's not good enough for us. Exactly. You know, we want to be positive and go on and win the game. And that might be a spark from an individual, or someone's got to take the game by the scruff of the neck and make it happen. And let's hope one of the players can do that today. Yeah, this is a good opportunity for everyone to show what they're made of. Thank you, Mark. We'll be back again at half-time, hopefully, to watch some Argyle goals. We'll hand over now to Charlie Price and Ian Stonebridge, who are standing by for your commentary. Now is a perfect opportunity to grab your match passes, pafc.co.uk if you haven't already, because Argyle versus Bradford is up next.